Okay, what's up? This is going to be my entry video on the topic how to handle immature girls, featuring the famous character Baki. And there's this common phrase, you can't love someone if you can't love yourself first. And while I agree with that concept, there's a simple problem with that phrase. People use it, but they can't even define the very meaning of the word love. And if they fail to define that one word, the meaning of the whole sentence becomes unclear because of this one foreign word. So today I'm trying to clear up the misconceptions of love slash self-love. Why am I talking about love? The title is about how to handle immature girls, right? The reason is simple. You cannot just become what people call an alpha male and handle every situation like a badass. Yeah, I know people write these books and make these videos like follow these 10 steps to become an alpha male and do this to get every chick. But guys, it's all gonna be fake and people will notice if you try hard. The only way, really the only way to exude this kind of confidence, like by natural, is when you don't give a fuck about what others think and have the courage to be yourself. And everyone is different, so you cannot cater to everyone's beliefs and needs. And of course, the requirement to be truly confident in yourself is to love yourself. And when you are complete by yourself, when you can love yourself, even though you're alone, you will be self confident by nature because you will not feel the need to cater to anyone. And that state of mind will allow you to handle every situation like an quote unquote alpha male while staying true to yourself. And in the end, that's what we're looking for when we are in a relation. You will get in situations where you and your partner will disagree or something in that nature, and that's why you need to love yourself so that your decision making in such a situation will not be influenced by your codependency that you have for that other person or other ulterior motives. That means the key to deal with that chick you're dating or really people in general actually starts way before we enter the relation itself. It starts with having a relation with ourselves first. So originally I wanted to name this video How to Love, but for reasons I just mentioned, I thought the title would be misleading. So in the course of this video, we're gonna look at Baki, how he deals with his girlfriend, and why he chose to do so. So in the show, Baki's dating this chick called Kozue, and to my surprise, the writer included this very interesting romance scene between those two. I should say quote unquote romance because it is not a typical romance scene. But this episode inspired me to start this video with the title basically How to Love, and the protagonist will show us in what state of mind we have to be at all times. So, a quick summary for those who haven't watched the show. Baki and Kozue are what we would call newly in love. But despite that, Baki's number one goal in life is to become stronger than his father, and therefore fighting is his passion. The dude enjoys fighting so much that he spends the most of his time perfecting his craft, training, and thinking about fighting or fighting. His passion turns out to now cause some problems for Kozue because he's so focused on fighting that Kozue feels neglected by him. So now after these two dated for a while, Kozue eventually has a hard time dealing with Baki's obsession with fighting instead of being obsessed with her. So now Kozue met this side character, and this dude basically confesses his love for her. And because Kozue is in that dilemma with Baki, she will make a typical move for a mature woman. She's gonna tell Baki about that other man to see if she can get Baki jealous in order to get all his attention for herself. Guys, a lot of women use this move, sometimes even subconscious, to test and bait their men. It allows them to find out what type of person you are and how far they can go with their shenanigans. First scene is called Be Prepared, and let's see how my man Baki deals with this confrontation.
え、誰に？
言わない。どう
So she just told him that this other dude proposed to her or loves her, and Baki just kind of turns away. He's not upset. If anything, he seems at peace because he obviously does not feel threatened by that other man. When really most men would freak out and start to interrogate their girlfriend, beat that guy up, or some shit. But guys, we can't be that desperate. If your girl is loyal, you don't have anything to worry. If she's unloyal, the fastest way to find out is to let things play out. So either way, just chill and observe like Baki because in the end, you cannot save a hoe from her own ways anyway. But Kozu's first attempt was a flop, but she still wants to know if Baki can become jealous, so she's gonna confront him directly this time. It's so funny though, because I'm sure the conversation ended here for Baki the way he just turned away, because he understands that it makes no sense to dig deeper here. I hope you guys understand that, but Kozue revives the dialogue because she did not get the desired reaction from Baki.
よ、浜バキ。私が結婚って。
もしそれが本当の話ならすごく動揺するよ。
Oh. So she's asking him, what would you do if I get married to that other guy? And he responds with, I'd be really upset. I think that's so cute because this is not the reaction she expected. Because Baki, being such a strong fighter, she probably thought he would rage or yell, but he was just completely honest. Even admit that he would be upset, and that's completely fine, guys. You don't have to act like you're some alpha man who don't have any feelings. It's completely fine to be honest, but the way Baki did it was being honest, but he still maintained his autonomy and self-respect.
動揺か。
なんだよ。ふーんって。
Yeah, what the hell is that reaction? Baki's really sharp. He knows what's going on. If you saw Kozue's eyes, let me rewind.
動揺か。
Damn, girl. So, if you look at her expression, it's pretty obvious that she enjoys the thought of Baki being upset about her because that means that she has control over his emotions and ultimately over him.
なんだよ。ふーんって。
動揺した後、どうするのかなって。
She's asking, I wonder what you do after getting upset. Baki probably is gonna say, Kozue, I'm gonna slap the shit out of you and your new lover. Sayonara, Kozue. No, I'm joking. When she says that, I wonder what you will do after getting upset. In her mind, she basically means, will you step up your game and fight for me, Baki? Give me more attention, love me more passionately when you hear about another man? Something in that nature. But fortunately, Baki can read her true intentions, and he's gonna respond with the perfect answer.
小瀬どうかするのはお前だろ。俺のどうこうすることじゃない。俺の決めることじゃない。
Woo! I could have not said it any better, guys. This is how you handle such situation. The reason Baki is so calm and unconcerned about his girlfriend, it is not because he doesn't love her, but because he understands that he can only control himself. And that it makes no sense trying to beat loyalty into someone. Because the more you try to control a person, the more you're gonna push that person away from you. If you really love someone, it means that you want the best for them, regardless of what you might get back from them. And that is called unconditional love, and our society uh, likes to understand this type of love. So Baki understands that all he can do is be himself, love her the best he can, while not expecting any kind of favor back from her or feel like he has some kind of ownership over her due to the time they spent together or the things he quote unquote did for her. If you ever had a breakup and felt like, I can't believe this bitch left me after everything I've done for her, like, this bitch. If you had this kind of reaction, you really never loved her. This type of love you had, like, it was not love. And all these things you allegedly did for her were actually for yourself. I'm telling you, if you actually quote unquote did things for her, all these acts should have been without condition, right? You would not expect anything in return because you did it out of the kindness of your heart for that other person to help that person. But the fact now that you feel regret, that you feel that all those acts were in vain, is the proof that you just saw her as an investment and all the things you did for her, quote unquote, all in order to gain ownership over her, to keep her and bind her to you for the things that she can give you. Guys, that's why it's so important to become someone who can be alone with yourself, who is self-driven before we engage in a serious relation. See, Baki found his purpose and peace before he met Kozue, and because of that, he's not depending on Kozue now. He doesn't want anything from Kozue. He doesn't need anything from Kozue. And if we don't develop those traits, we will likely become addicted to that person because now, as long as you have your partner, you can avoid facing yourself, and the relation will become the drive that keeps you going. And that form of codependency, it is found a lot in our society, and it is called being in love or being addicted, both basically being the same thing, because being in love with a person is like being addicted to a drug. We depend on that person like we depend on a drug to get a high. And soon that drug or that person will control us because every human being needs to be high on something to get through life. I don't care who it is. Here's the point I want to make. When you find yourself in this kind of situation where you question your trust in your partner, like maybe she wants to go out to a club, maybe she is meeting some guy that you know has feelings for her, slash wants to bang her. I'm telling you, you don't have to trust her, but you also don't have to dictate her life and her decisions. If she wants to do that stuff, let her do it. Because in the end, she will only dislike you for your insecurities anyway if you forbid her stuff and try to stop her. But if she really loves you, she will eventually return to you and stop going out every night out of respect for you. Because she would rather spend time with you, right? Than getting drunk with a bunch of fake friends. In the end, you cannot force her to commit to you. She has to decide. But that doesn't mean that you have to tolerate everything. If you think she's gonna betray you, then let things run its course. If it happens, then fine. At least now you know who you're with and you can move on to someone else who actually respects you. And meanwhile, instead of worrying about the things that are out of your control, this mindset will allow you to keep your peace of mind over the course, and it's going to prevent a situation from escalating that you should have never taken that serious to start with. In the end, it is up to us to decide how much we are willing to tolerate, and it is up to us to set the perimeters of our relation, to define the relationship. And then it is up to your partner to decide if they can make that sacrifice, if they can stay committed to you and the idea that you have, the vision that you have about the relation. And if you can agree, if she's not agreeing on your terms, then it's probably time to say goodbye, right? There's a bunch of women out there that might be a better fit for you. You don't have to cater to anyone just because maybe she's very good looking. That's one of the biggest mistakes you can make. Just communicate. Take your time to really get to know your partner. Take your time. And tell each other what you want out of the relation, not what you want from them. And of course, that means that both sides have to be in a state of self awareness and satisfaction before they enter a relation so that when you get together, you don't pull your partner down. All right?
おかしい。
それは私の決めることではない。
似てるかも。
Okay, now we're coming to the second part of Baki and Kozue's date. And here Baki will provide us with more depth into his views on romantic relations. This scene will help us understand where Baki's coming from and why he can be so calm, despite potentially losing his love to another man. This part is called Watch Carefully, and it means never let your guard down and think just because she calls you her boyfriend and your boo boo means that she could not leave you the next day. And to get into this mindset, we need to detach from that romantic type of love, the same type of love that Shakespeare showed us in Romeo and Juliet, the same love that is portrayed in all these rom-coms. And don't get me wrong, as a man, we need to love our woman, but we need to lead with our brain, not our heart, because we cannot get carried away by her beauty and gaze and smell. It will take away our discernment and make us act emotionally as well as make us blind to the red flags.
Baki 君、なんか私のこと見なくなったね。
よく見てるさ。
そうかな。
いや、見てるというより梢を感じてる。それじゃあ
I can feel you. So even though these two are still in the honeymoon phase, Baki is aware that we cannot be distracted by the facade. Because early on, people will only show you their good side. They basically put on an act. But when we are looking for that wifey material, it is important to watch carefully, not at her body, but at her soul in order to see her real character. Although I stated earlier that we should let things run its course, it doesn't mean that we should turn a blind eye to the possible red flags. You don't have to be paranoid, but by detecting the red flags early on, you can save yourself a lot of time, energy, and pain. And of course, it starts out with attraction, but you won't be able to love someone forever just for her looks, because eventually she's gonna lose her good looks, assuming that you both can even stay together for that long. I think some people are born with loyalty. I don't know. I think loyalty is just a trait that you're born with. And those that aren't loyal, I don't think they're built for marriage. But that doesn't mean that loyalty is enough. But loyal people are more likely to commit to a meaningful relation and make the sacrifices that are needed to live in monogamy. Unlike the modern idea of love, real love is not exciting and full of drama, and there's no such thing as love at first sight. A strong relationship is peaceful, but peace also means a lack of drama. And without problems to solve and no drama, you won't have the excitement of makeup, breakup, sex, and such things. And you will face monotony at some degree. The same day, the same person, same topic, same sex, same food. This is one of the sacrifices you have to make if you want to get married. And then you have to commit to the same person each and every day. It doesn't mean marriage have to be boring though. That depends on the two of you, but these two things, commitment and sacrifice, are key. So you better be with a person that has a beautiful soul if your plan is to stick to that person for a long time. And of course, a nice body wouldn't be bad, but be aware that those super hot chicks tend to be unloyal because of the sheer amount of option they have, especially today in this social media era. On top of that, most of these hot chicks are immature because they get away with everything due to their looks and don't have to learn from their mistakes as long as they can rebound from their failed relation into the next bed. More often than not, people that are overly obsessed with their appearance, they have nothing to offer besides that, so be aware. Everything in life comes at a price.
ダメ
ダメ。見なきゃダメ。
You need to look at me. So let me add this too. Earlier I stated that Kozu wants Baki's attention, if you remember, but it is actually a little bit deeper than that. So Kozue complains that Baki's not looking at her enough, and when Baki responds with that he rather feels her, she says, "No, it's not okay. You have to look at me." This is because the immature woman gets her high by being worshipped for her looks instead of her character. So what she desires is the type of attention or affection that Romeo had for Juliet, And we all know how that ended.
ちょっといいですか？
ジュニア。
バキさん、私、梢さんと結婚します。
言うかな、こんなところで。感動しちゃったよ、ちょっと。
あんたまさか別の目的で言ってんじゃないだろうな。例えば俺を怒らせるためとか。
どうしても、そのくだらない質問に答えねばなりませんか？改めて言います。梢さんにアプローチします。
いちいち俺に言うことじゃない。梢は誰のものでもない。
今、確かに聞きました。彼女は君のものではない。
私はバキ君の彼女。
俺もそう思う。しかしそれは二人の間にだけ交わされた約束で、他の異性は一切関係ない。
He said that their relationship is just a promise made between the two of them. But what he really implying is that in his mind, she could break that promise at any moment. And that, guys, is the harsh reality. Like I said before, we like to get carried away by love, but we cannot be delusional. Even a contract, aka marriage, is not absolute. And actually, most marriages fail statistically. And my man Baki understands that the true nature of a relationship is not romantic. A woman can tell you that she loves you one day, and next week she forgot about your sorry ass. It's nothing special, happens every day, so enjoy it while it lasts.
誰だって梢を好きになれるし、恋人にしたければ申し込んだらいい。梢は誰が一番か決めたらいい。俺がダメだと思うなら、梢、他へ行きゃいい。
What a savage, guys. This is relationship goals. It might seem cold blooded to talk like this, like, go choose someone else, I don't care. Like, he doesn't give a damn, but he's actually very kind and real here, in my opinion. He doesn't force her to commit to him, nor is he jealous or attacking this guy. He knows that you cannot own a woman, so really the only real option is to let her decide. And the reason Kozue looks totally shocked here is because this is the first time she's confronted with this type of love that doesn't cling to someone. It's amazing how this scene appears in an anime, but Kozue is starting to grasp that she has no power over Baki, and his detachment and calmness is just overwhelming her. I'm sure though that she's gonna respect and love Baki even more for being this way, instead of being a jealous fuck.
いいの？それで。
男も女もそういう競争の中にいる。俺はそう考える。
OK。とてもフェアです。梢さん、また会いましょう。
なるほどね。あいつだったのか。
That's basically it. The lesson we can learn from this episode is to always take the high road. Not only will we protect our peace of mind, but the passiveness will prove to be way more aggressive than you would think. There's this quote: if you love someone, let them go. And if they really love you, they will come back. I'm talking some cringe stuff today. I know sometimes it can be hard to let someone go you really like, but that's why we have to change the way we love. And how we do that is by understanding unconditional love. And for that, I'm going to refer to the best teacher that walked the earth, Jesus Christ. And Jesus was once asked, what's the most important commandment is? And he responds with, You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind, before adding, you shall love your neighbor as yourself. And even the so-called Christians underestimate the depth of the sentence. It says we shall love God first, then love ourselves, and then we can love our neighbors just like we love ourselves. So in order to love our neighbor, we first have to love ourselves. Otherwise, how could we give something if we don't have it? But before we can meet that requirement of loving ourselves, we have to love the Most High first. Why is that? Because it is only after we learn how God loves us, and that is unconditionally and pure, that we understand what real love really is. If you understand the God of the scriptures, behind everything he does, there's always love behind it, even if it contains suffering and hardships and limitations. It shows that just like our parents, the Most High wants the best for us, but sometimes that means that they have to give us that tough love. Sometimes they have to allow pain to teach us a lesson. And when we are kids, we don't understand the reason why our parents discipline us and why they were so strict with us. We might even end up hating them, but when you grow up, I hope you're gonna realize that it was all for our own good, to prepare us for our life, not for theirs. And that is love. Wanting the best for someone, even if it means that we don't get loved in return. But even understanding unconditional love is not enough to love yourself. First, you have to know thyself. And how you do that, how to know thyself, is by connecting with the Most High. Learn how to be by yourself, and the Most High will show you the place where you belong, your purpose, and work that will allow you to use your talents. And once you have found your place and the things that you're good at, you eventually find joy in spending time with yourself and pursuing your passion, because it's only when we do the things we love that we can be completely ourselves. I'm going to repeat this because this is so obvious but so powerful. Only our passion will allow you to be completely yourself. For example, a boxer is only complete or will only feel complete when he's fighting. It's his fists that allow him to be himself. A musician will feel most alive when he's making music. And a writer, a book writer, cannot express his creativity in a daily situation. He's going to pour his energy into that book. The story he wants to tell, the lessons he wants to teach, the worlds and the characters he wants to create. Only writing will allow him to be all that, to be himself. Pursuing our purpose will allow us to show the world a side of us that we usually have to suppress, and the side that makes us feel most alive. I'm still me in the meantime, like when I'm not doing what I love most, but that is why you have the saying, leave it all out there before someone enters a stage. It means that only while we are on that stage can we show the world our gifts, our innermost thoughts, everything we stand for and dedicate our life to. And obviously, that's a beautiful thing, not only for yourself, but also for the world. And this is what it's about, guys, to serve others. And how you do that is by showing the world your talents. And when you reach this place, and it is, I call it the zone. Maybe you experience it if you do sports, but if you reach this place, it's like you're in a zone, but permanently, 24/7. You're gonna feel what it means to love thyself when you reach this zone, and it means that you possess something so precious to you that you're not required anymore to desperately chase that relation. Ironically, now could you consider yourself ready to love somebody else? I might do a separate video to talk about this because so many people have talents that they don't know how to capitalize. And instead, they waste their whole life working a job that they hate and drown themselves in drugs to endure it. But that's it for now. Put the Most High first. Learn to love yourself, and then you can put yourself in a position where the relationship you desire will come to you. But yeah, peace.